Hello everybody and welcome to Scare Your Friends. I'm joined by all my pals this time. Nate is actually here, as is Dan, as is William, and as is Dylan. What's up, guys?
Hey, John.
Hi, John!
Get the fuck out.
Dan, what the hell are you doing? You're like... Dan, wake
Dan's
up.
asleep.
There's pasta to consume. Daniel, arise.
Okay, that did not... For audio podcast,
Don't
that's not going to sound
me.
good.
Don't touch me.
Nate, how you been? How've you been?
Same old me. Nothing special.
Nate was here for the first part of Ted the Caver, but unfortunately that audio was lost, so...
Stop bringing it
You
up.
mean the
He
only
hasn't
part
been...
of Ted the
I'm not
Caver?
trying to bring it up.
Oh shit, I haven't been here for like ever, technically.
Yeah, since the first part of Pen Pal. So it's been a while for the listeners hearing your voice.
God.
Hopefully, actually, now that Nate's here, now this audio's gonna get fucked up now because of Nate's presence or some shit like that. We also have Dan here who's like falling asleep. So Dan, what's up? Dan.
Just look back at it.
Dan.
Stop!
If you smack me again, you won't be in this podcast because I'm going to lay you the fuck out.
Oh man. Nate.
I hope that you mean that in a violent way, not the other way.
Dylan,
There's
the quote of the
It's been pretty gay today, haven't it?
Today was a very gay day for us today.
It was.
It's the month.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time.
We
Spent a lot of
celebrating.
time in the pool together.
It was a small pool.
It was a cold pool.
We had no business being this many people in that small of a pool.
It took Nate about
Yeah,
30
Nate
minutes.
did a lot of blowing. It was great.
Great comment.
Dylan, how have you been?
I've been good, aside from being in the pool. It's all good.
I'm well.
Yeah, I'm like having a good day. I'm very excited to be here.
Bullshit. Sorry.
What are you talking about?
You know what? I was going to call him out too, and I was like, it's not worth it.
I feel like I'm the least bitter
there's
person.
30
I feel like you have been a stick in the
Hold on.
mud all goddamn day.
And not only that, there's 37 missed calls. Okay?
What?
What?
You know what?
No,
No,
I don't.
you can't have Dylan.
Yes.
We've had-
Let's mention the 37 missed calls that literally everybody around the world is who
Dylan,
that's listening to this
I
podcast
was
is gonna know what
not
we're talking
trying
about.
to put that into a fuck.
Dylan,
Oh,
I've literally had this conversation with you about you can't put inside jokes
Can't
that all of our
bring
listeners
shit up
do
that
not
we've
understand.
experienced. Right.
We know it's funny, but they don't understand
Well, it's
why.
not funny. But the point is, for the listeners at home, we're sorry.
Fuck's sake.
I had a 37-minute conversation cumulative with multiple drunk people today. That's all.
Speedrunners.
That's all that happened. And Dylan is referencing that in a very funny way.
thank you.
What's going on, John?
Today we're going to be
Christ.
reading Smile.dog. Nate's back, and Nate likes dogs, I guess. So I figured let's do a pasta about dogs.
Nate loves my new dog more than my new dog loves me, and I'm jealous, and I hate
What's your dog's name
everything.
again?
Enzo.
That's a great name for a dog.
It's
I'm not
pretty
gonna lie.
good after Enzo Amore, the wrestler.
It's not a good
He's
name
a
anymore.
G,
I was gonna
bona
say
fide
he
stud.
ruined. He
You
didn't
ruined
say
it.
it.
Wait,
Don't
what would
change
make
it.
it? Wait, hold on.
Teach that.
Wait, what?
It
what's
wasn't
the-
my choice. I wanted to name him Cyrano, and fucking nobody was like, that's gay.
Cyrano?
I'm like, whatever.
Diversion.
See, I don't know
Cyrano.
that.
Wait, what would have made it a better name for you? Like once you found out that it was named after the wrestler. What were you
No,
hoping
just
for?
not hearing the origin story would have sufficed.
Dick.
Just don't name your dogs after wrestlers.
He didn't.
Talk to my sister. That was not my decision.
I don't. You needed to make it an executive decision, Dan.
Watch,
I did. I
watch
said
the-
Cyrano, and
okay.
everyone was like, that's fucking dumb.
For those at home,
Well, I was
after-
just like you.
For those at home, after you're done listening to this podcast, pull up a video of Enzo and Big Cass's entrance, and you'll know why his sister named the dog Enzo.
Or don't,
Okay.
because
You
if
won't know
you
why.
have any
You don't know the
respect
picture
for
of
yourself,
Right, never do that.
you'll
Never
do
that.
something else, like
Never
brush your teeth or watch a nice movie.
So we're reading a very popular story. Now we know how popular stories have gone on this
Oh shit.
podcast. Sometimes we've read very popular stories such as Abandoned by Disney,
Pretty good.
Jeff the Killer,
Amazing.
Get out.
Candle Cove,
That was alright.
Squidward's Suicide,
Pretty good.
Dead Bart.
It's better.
Oh, he wasn't there for that, was he?
He was there for I think one.
I didn't see. I wasn't there for Squidward.
So it's been a while. Since Pen Pal, we haven't really done too many incredibly popular ones. I think we've done the
Which
two.
was the pen pal?
The 37-parter.
Oh.
37
Okay.
The Batman vs Superman extended cut podcast.
Of creepypasta, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're back in the mainstream.
Well, this is a mainstream one. Also, it's shorter, so we won't have to read as long today. I think, and it's more for me because I'm getting over some sickness. William
like
is
It's
getting
more for you. We all, literally all of us are collectively.
sick.
John, how many
Yeah.
episodes have you been sick?
See?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't been sick the last couple. It's been mostly just, I was sick during the first part of Pen Pal, I think. I was fine during the second part, and I haven't been really sick since then.
Last week we were all supposed to hang out and record this, but we all felt like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not me.
What are we reading today, John?
Smile.dog. We announced it
Smile
already.
Dog.
Dan, wake up.
I
Wake
forgot.
fuck up.
Dan, we said a long time.
Out.
We got to
You know
start
what?
reading.
And just
Dan's going to die.
And you know what? Because Nate hasn't been here in a while, Nate, why don't you start reading?
I first met in person with Mary E. in the summer of 2007. I had arranged with her husband of 15 years, Terrence, to see her for an interview. Mary had initially agreed, since I was not a newsman but rather an amateur writer gathering information for a few early college assignments and, if all went according to plan, some pieces of fiction. We scheduled the interview for a particular weekend when I was in Chicago on unrelated business, but at the least moment, Mary changed her mind and locked herself in the couple's bedroom, refusing to meet with me. For half an hour, I sat with Terrence as we camped outside the bedroom door, I listening and taking notes while he attempted fruitlessly to calm his wife. The things Mary said made little sense but fit with the pattern I was expecting. Though I could not see her, I could tell from her voice that she was crying. And more often than not, her objections to speaking with me centered around an incoherent diatribe on her dreams, her nightmares. Terrence apologized profusely when we ceased the exercise, and I did my best to take it in stride. Recall that I wasn't a reporter in search of a story, but merely a curious young man in search of information. Besides, I thought at the time I could perhaps find another similar case if I put my mind and resources to it.
Mary was the size-up of a small Chicago-based bulletin board system in 1992 when she first encountered Smile.jpeg and her life changed forever. She and Terrence have been married for only 5 months. Mary is one of an estimated 400 people who saw an image when it was posted as a hyperlink on the BBS, though she is the only one who has spoken openly about the experience. The rest have remained anonymous or perhaps dead. In 2005, when I was only in 10th grade, Smile.jpg was first brought to my attention by my burgeoning interest in web-based phenomena. Mary was the most often cited victim of what's sometimes referred to as Smile.dog, being Smile.jpg is reputed to display. What caught my interest, other than the obvious macabre events of the cyber legend and my proclivity towards such things, was the sheer lack of information, usually to the point that people don't believe it even exists, other than as a rumor or a hoax.
So this person is this is some person who wants to interview Mary E. And he arrives for the interview. She agrees to the interview, and then he gets there, and she's locked herself in the room, basically not coming out and
having
refusing to
herself
come
a
out.
good cry.
Based on some kind of weird internet spook from the 90s.
A goofy JPEG, as it were.
As it were, yes.
It is unique because, though the entire phenomenon centers on a picture file, that file is nowhere to be found on the internet. Certainly many photo-manipulated simulacra litter the web, showing up with the most frequency on sites such as the image board 4chan, particularly the X-focused paranormal subboard. It is suspected these are fakes because they do not have the effect the true Smile JPEG is believed to have, namely sudden onset temporal lobe epilepsy and acute anxiety. This purported reaction in the viewer is one of the reasons the phantom-like Smile JPEG is regarded with such disdain. Since it is patently absurd, though depending on whom you ask, the reluctance to acknowledge Smile JPEG's existence might be just as much out of fear as it is out of disbelief.
Neither Smile JPEG nor Smile.dog is mentioned anywhere on Wikipedia, though the website features articles on such other, perhaps more scandalous shock sites as Hello JPEG or Two Girls, One Cup.
Classic.
Any attempt to create a page pertaining to Smile JPEG is summarily deleted by any of the encyclopedia's many admins. Encounters with Smile JPEG are the stuff of internet legend. Mary E.'s story is not unique. There are unverified rumors of Smile JPEG showing up in the early days of Usenet, and even one persistent tale that in 2002, a hacker flooded the forums of humor and satire website Something Awful with a deluge of Smile.dog pictures, rendering almost half the forum's users at the time epileptic.
So this is like the brown note? Like you
this is odd.
yeah, like you see it and you fucking go, instead of shitting your pants, you fucking have a seizure.
Yeah, it's a Yeah, the idea, I guess, is that it's a JPEG image that goes around, and when you see it, some shit happens.
You
Like,
die!
Shit bricks.
Yeah.
Well, did you write this? Because there's a lot of crazy words.
No, I literally think it's a bit much.
I'm
do
thinking.
too.
It's a little too wordy for a creepypasta.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's taking me out of the story because I'm trying to say these big words. I'm like, what the hell?
Nah, it's fine.
People listening would be like, these fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is also said that in the mid to late 90s, Smile JPEG circulated on Usenet, and as an attachment of a chain email with the subject line, "Smile, God loves you." Yet despite the huge exposure these stunts would generate, there are very few people who admit to having experienced any of them, and no trace of the file or any link has ever been discovered. Those who claim to have seen Smile JPEG often weakly joke that they were far too busy to save a copy of the picture to their hard drive. However, all alleged victims offer the same description of the photo, a dog-like creature, usually described as appearing similar to a Siberian husky, illuminated by the flash of the camera. Sits in a dim room, the only background detail that is visible being a human hand extending from the darkness near the left side of the frame. The hand is empty, but is usually described as beckoning. Of course, most attention is given to the dog, or dog creature, as some victims are more certain than others about what they claim to have seen. The muzzle of the beast is reputedly split in a wide grin, revealing 2 rows of very white, very sharp, very human-looking teeth.
This is, of course, not a description given immediately after viewing the picture, but rather a collection of the victims who claim to have seen the picture endlessly repeated in their mind's eye during the time they are, in reality, having epileptic fits. These fits are reported to continue intermittently, often while the victims sleep, resulting in very vivid and disturbing nightmares. These may be treated with medication, though in some cases it is more effective than others. Mary E., I assumed, was not on effective medication. That was why, after my visit to her apartment in 2007, I set out feelers to several folklore and urban legend-orientated news groups, websites, and mailing lists, hoping to find the name of the supposed victim of Smile.jpg, who felt more interested in talking about his experiences. For a time, nothing happened, and at length, I completely forgot about my pursuits. Since I had begun my freshman year of college and was quite busy, Mary contacted me via email, however, near the beginning of March 2008.
Dear Mr. L, I'm incredibly sorry about my behavior last summer when you came to interview me. I hope you understand that it was no fault of yours, but rather my own problems that led me to act out as I did. I realized that I could have handled the situation more decorously. However, I hope you will forgive me. At the time, I was afraid. You see, for 15 years, I've been haunted by Smile JPEG. Smile.dog comes to me in my sleep every night. I know that sounds silly, but it is true. There is an ineffable quality about my dreams, my nightmares, that makes them completely unlike any real dream I ever had. I do not move and do not speak. I simply look ahead, and the only thing ahead of me is the scene from the horrible picture. I see the beckoning hand, and I see Smile.dog. It talks to me. It is not a dog, of course, though I'm not quite sure what it really is. It tells me it will leave me alone if I only do as it asks. All I must do, it says, is spread the word. That is how it phrases it demands. And I know exactly what it means. It wants me to show it to someone else. And I could. The week after my incident, I received in the mail a manila envelope with no return address. Inside was only a 3/2-inch floppy diskette. Without having to check, I knew precisely what was on it. I thought for a long time about my options. I could show it to a stranger, a coworker. I could even show it to Terrence, as much as the idea disgusted me. And what would happen then? Well, if Smile.dog kept its word, I could sleep. Yet, if it lied, what would I do? And who was to say something worse would not come for me if I did as the creature asked? So I did nothing for 15 years, though I kept the diskette hidden amongst my things. Every night for 15 years, Smile.dog has come to me in my sleep and demanded that I spread the word. For 15 years, I have stood strong, though there have been hard times. Many of my fellow victims on the BBS board where I first encountered Smile JPEG stopped posting. I heard some of them committed suicide. Others remain completely silent, simply disappearing off the face of the web. They are the ones I worry about the most. I sincerely hope you will forgive me, Mr. L. But last summer, when you contacted me and my husband about an interview, I was near the breaking point. I decided I was going to give you the floppy disk. I did not care if Smile.dog was lying or not. I wanted to end. You were a stranger, someone I had no connection with, and I thought I would not feel sorrow when you took the disc as part of your research and sealed your fate. Before you arrived, I realized what I was doing was plotting to ruin your life. I could not stand the thought, and in fact, I still cannot. I am ashamed, Mr. L, and I hope that this warning will dissuade you from further investigation of Smile JPEG. You may in the time encounter someone who is, if not weaker than I, someone who will not hesitate to Smile.dog's orders. Stop while you are still whole. Sincerely, Miss Mary E.
Fuck. Stop while you are still whole.
So that was a lot. What do you guys think?
What a bitch.
Well, she didn't do it. She was going to do it, and then she decided at the last minute not to. But what do you think of this concept, though? This idea of the Smile.dog?
What,
basically?
this concept of
It's very The Ring.
ultra bargain bin ring?
Yeah.
Come on, man. What is this nonsense?
Will's already...
We got The Ring, which was a great movie. It was cool.
Haven't
We
seen
had
it.
an actually scary villain,
We should watch
right?
it next.
Came into the real world, was creepy. People were hallucinating. It was more tangible. You could spread it around. Death was going down. This is some dude saw The Ring, and then, maybe 6 months later, he was like, I got a great idea, and, maybe never quite realized that he didn't have a great idea, and that he just had a bad version of someone else's great idea.
You're comparing apples to oranges.
No,
here.
I'm
You're
not.
comparing
I'm
a movie
comparing
to
an
a
apple
very
to a
similar
rotten
It's
apple.
very similar.
That's what I'm
I
comparing.
don't think it's... No, I think
Have you
it's...
seen The Ring?
I haven't seen The Ring, but
There
I
you
know it's
go.
a movie, and you're comparing a
I'm
blockbuster movie versus a creepypasta.
I'm
And I think
comparing
that's
very-
not a-
the plot's
John,
very
I'm
similar.
comparing two stories. Okay?
All right, that's fine.
A story, and it hits so many of the same beats. And it's this concept of a smiling dog. I'm sorry. When you're crafting, a horror or a creepypasta, right? You want a figure of tangible fear, right?
Yeah.
The concept of, our Disney episodes where they're creepy dudes in masks. That's scary. But, a dog with a big old grin.
They show the image up top, and it is a little creepy, but it's
The
not.
concept's the
something-
same as...
Oh, do they show two on top on the mobile version?
The image leaves me a little
Yeah.
cold too. But I mean, at that
Yeah,
point, I'm
okay.
picking
So
nits.
so you were not supposed to see the image till the end of the story. That's how it works on the. It's on the bottom of the
Yeah.
story.
Ugh.
Oh, that's so...
I don't know. This feels very run of the mill to me. Maybe that's because I like The Ring. Feels like the same thing.
let's see.
Dan, do you like it?
I don't know. It I want to, but it has
Well,
it
finish
has
it.
a lot of those ideas.
The wording too is just pulling away from the story too. It's he knows what he's talking about, but it's he just.
It's why
throwing
don't you
words.
just destroy the diskette then? I guess maybe she was scared.
Well, she was
Smile
tortured.
Dog
She was
would-
scared. She would never have an escape then, Dan.
Let's finish it up.
Let's see.
Terrence
if it...
contacted
Yeah.
me later that month with the news that his wife had killed herself.
Okay.
Great. In cleaning up the various things she'd left behind, closing email accounts and the like, he happened upon the above message. He was a man in shambles. He wept as he told me to listen to his wife's advice. He'd found the diskette, he revealed, and burned it until it was nothing but a stinking pile of blackened plastic.
Good.
We do this every time. The part that was most disturbing him, however, was how the diskette had hissed as it melted. Alright.
Finish it,
It's like
Dan.
some sort of animal, he said. And I'm starting to hit that turning point. I will admit that I was a little uncertain about how to respond to this. At first I thought perhaps it was a joke, with the couple belatedly playing with the situation in order to get a rise out of me. A quick check of several Chicago newspapers' online obituaries, however, proved that Mary E. was indeed dead. There was, of course, no mention of suicide in the article. I decided that for a time at least, stop beating off over there, I would not further pursue the subject of Smile.dog or Smile JPEG, especially since I had finals coming up at the end of May. But the world has odd ways of testing us. Almost a full year after I returned from my disastrous interview with Mary E., I received another email. Hello, I found your email address through a mailing list in your profile. Said you are interested in Smile.dog. I have saw it is not as bad as everyone says. I have sent it to you here, just spreading the word. The final line chilled me to the bone.
According to my email client, there was one file attachment called Naturally Smile JPEG. I considered downloading it for some time. It was mostly like a fake, I imagined, and even if I weren't, I was never wholly convinced of Smile JPEG's peculiar powers. Mary E's account had shaken me, yes, but she was probably mentally unbalanced anyway. After all, how could a simple image do what Smile JPEG was said to accomplish? What sort of creature was it that could break one's mind with only power of the eye? And if such things were patently absurd, then why did the legend exist at all? If I downloaded the image, if I looked at it, and if Mary turned out to be correct, Smile.dog came to me in my dreams demanding I spread the word, what would I do? Would I live my life as Mary had, fighting against the urge to give it until I died? Or would I simply spread the word, eager to be put to rest? And if I chose the latter route, how could I do it? Whom would I burden in turn? If I went through with my earlier intention to write a short article about Smile JPEG, I decided I could attach it as evidence. And anyone who read this article, anyone who took interest, would be affected. And even assuming the Smile JPEG attached to the email was genuine, would I be capricious enough to save myself in that manner? Could I spread the word? Yes, I could.
So that was...
He got us. A little metaphor for
no!
Wallery.
Yeah. Now
He gave us the old reach around.
And now we're spreading it to the podcast
Wow.
right
That was
now.
nice of him.
Whoa!
Yeah, we done did it this time.
Yep.
So it was.
I'll talk to you about my thoughts in a second, but first I want to hear what you guys think.
Bill.
Hey.
Shut up.
I am.
Hey.
I am probably, and I don't think it's just because I'm tired and I'm getting over being sick. I was incredibly indifferent to the story.
Yeah.
It's
Every story.
Okay, I'm gonna have to jump in here, play a little devil's advocate to you negative Nancys.
Oh,
Because
boy.
I think...
You were the fucking king, Negative Nancy.
Yeah, shut your
I
mouth.
know, literally.
Nothing but let's listen to the King of Negative Nancy's, okay?
Alright, look, this story actually, I mean, it's written very well.
Mm.
The writing, I almost feel like it's a disservice to the author to be writing such, I don't want to say nonsense, to be writing this when he or she clearly has the ability to
Decent
write
vocabulary,
very well. Good flow, good structure, everything's put together well, like one typo. Who cares?
Authors unknown, by the way.
Yeah, this is like actually like really, I was like kind of impressed with how well this was written compared to even ones where we're normally like, well, it was well written. Like this was good. This had a fun flow to it, and it was well done, I thought. But I thought the story was poo-poo. Kind of. I thought it'd be like Ring-like, and it was Ring-like the whole way through. And they did the little meta twist, and it's.
That was okay.
Was
I
this
think,
like? Was that supposed to be like a heel turn? Like dun dun, the author was self-serving the whole time. Because I feel like
I guess,
that
but I
was what it was
guess, but
supposed
that
to
was
be.
kind of like that. Honestly, that's the part of the story I don't mind, where he's like, "Well, I've been searching for this thing, and now somebody gave it to me, and it's like, do I want to pursue this? Well, I mean, it'd be easier. I would just make it like he talks about how no one's ever spread it, or there's never been accounts of like it's never been posted anywhere." And then he has the ability to do it. And he's like, well, I'm going to do it then. Fuck it. I'm going to look at it, and if I freak out, I'm just going to...
I guess the story teases that idea of, like, you either heroically struggle with this burden,
Right.
or you're a self-serving sociopath.
Which is silly. Which is a silly burden.
It's a very silly conceit
Right.
to set up for, like, the emotional core of your story.
Right.
I agree. But I guess that's the twist, which is that all along our author, the wolf in sheep's clothing, as it were, was actually a self-serving bastard the whole time. Right?
But it's just like...
Because he did it, or she did it to all of us.
And
We just got spooked.
I think the whole point, to me at least, is that the image... The problem is the story wants to be creepy and scary.
It does.
But you present us with an image that wouldn't normally be necessarily creepy and scary. And that's why when you hear about it, you're like, oh, how bad could it be? And then, like, you look at it and you fucking go crazy.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but then, as someone who's reading it, it's like, well, this isn't scary. You know what I mean?
It hits such
Like, it's
familiar...
a catch-22, right?
What is that? I don't know if it was Smiling Man, the one where they're in the chat room and then the guys.
It's Funny Mouth.
Funny Mouth.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, was thinking about Funny Mouth as I'm reading this. I'm like,
A little
Yeah.
bit.
it has a little tie-in with that, but I'm like,
I
little
guess, but I think Funny Mouth was way better.
So do
yeah,
I.
it was way better, yes, but like that, the thing was
Same kind of concept.
the story. Yeah, but the thing was like this story did not have its own way of.
The story did nothing unique, really.
Yeah, it was nothing unique of it. It
Very
was,
conventional.
It was like taking things that other people have done and then saying, "Oh, this is something."
Yeah,
different.
Funny Mouth definitely had a more unique bent to this kind of, like, passing it along.
Yeah.
And that was like a specter coming out of the computer
Right.
and breaking his jaw in the middle of the night in his bed, which is good. a little goofy,
Right.
but like fun and different. And plus, that was written in all chat speak, which was a cool effect.
The idea of this, I like. I like the idea of this haunted image that fucking makes people go crazy and gives them epileptic fix. But I think there's too much borrowed from other things that we've seen. And, like, the idea of, like, having nightmares every night of, like, a talking dog telling you to... Like, I don't know. Like, I want to put myself in that situation. I want to feel creeped out, but I just can't.
It's like the dog is like an
I just
over-enthusiastic Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, come on, buddy, spread the word.
Yeah,
Take a
I
pamphlet or
can't.
3. And it's
I
just,
can't.
you know.
Maybe if we had more description of, like, what she's seeing in the nightmare, or there was more to it, like, when Smile.dog's talking to her, she's seeing, like, I don't know, like, all her friends and family dying, or, like, something horrible like, something.
No, that's actually a really, like, cogent point, because I feel like the vast bulk of this story is focused on our author, who throughout never sees the picture at
Right.
all. And he's just talking about how, like, gee whiz, it's hard to find this picture.
Right.
And he's giving us, essentially the entire story is just an exposition dump. There's no current events really happening.
Well, as he's writing it, he already knows about the picture. It's just...
But he's never seen it, and as a result, we, the readers, never see it either, and we never...
Until, well, that's the point, because at the end he
There's
sort of...
no spook.
Well, that's the spook that the attempted spook, at least, is to try and say... The twist is he has the JPEG, and I'm going to show it to you. So he's not revealing his hand.
Right.
He's not revealing that he knows.
And
about it,
this is the article that he was referring to.
Right.
As like,
cool.
boom,
Right.
gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, it starts off as an exhibition dump, and then it's like, got you. That's the idea.
I mean, that's
fine.
That's a nice little twist.
And that's fine, and that's I feel like that's the best part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But the concept itself is interesting and clever, but the actual thing itself, the scare itself, is not.
I'd say,
and that's the problem.
She almost relies too much on the photograph, and I find this is kind of a problem with some creepypastas.
You're talking about Mary E. or the author? Wait.
The author.
The author.
He or she, whatever. Whoever wrote this.
Right, okay.
But this person who wrote it, they've come up with an okay Photoshop picture of whatever, or a true photo,
Right.
however
Creepy,
you want to fly
whatever.
with it. Sure. And they feel that just by presenting that to us, that does their narrative job for them of setting this up as a horrifying thing, when it really doesn't. It doesn't work at all. You can't just show us a picture at the end and be like, here's your payoff. It feels just very unsatisfying from a narrative perspective. You're kind of ducking a core part of what should make your story, like, fearful.
Right, and it would have been better
rather.
if we actually didn't see it. And I get that that's the point at the end. Like, there it is! Ah! But then it kind of, like, cheapens it.
I kind of wish it was more, there was more to it, and that, like, maybe at the end he, like maybe you have a narrative where he sees the picture and how he's going crazy, and you make it almost like episodic almost, and by the end you show the picture. You
know what I was half expecting? When the narrator was originally talking about, like, people only remember it in recollection, I was half expecting, like, nobody actually knows what the picture actually is, right? Like, it's something, and then you have an epileptic fit, or you go crazy or whatever, and then you recall seeing that, but that's not what it actually is.
Yeah,
right.
And that would have been way more clever.
Yep.
And interesting, and, like, you know, maybe we would have got, like, a little bit of what it might. I think having either not knowing what it is at all, or that would have been better than just, you know, this is the photo and this is what happens to people.
There's also, like, no immediate conflict because the author turns out to be such a villainous sort, as we find out in the end, right? The whole buildup is just trying to find the photo, whatever. Not really. I mean, you could call that conflict,
right?
His struggle or her struggle. No, it's. Did we ever define who the author is?
No, it's unknown. That's what I'm saying.
So. I meant to say narrator, but yeah, I guess it's also unknown.
We don't know who the narrator is either.
Yeah, it's weird because, you know what, honestly, it kind of, like, I can't find the right words for this, but, like, reading it also, then all of a sudden he's reading a letter from this woman, and then it goes down to, he's getting another one, and he's saying, like, he's going to be writing an article. At that point, I was like, is he going to pull this whole switch shit, and the
meta baby switch.
The meta baby switch. I'm like, is he going to do it? I thought the story wasn't going to do it, and then he did it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
kinda
not-
There are.
Insane.
This is the most. This is, to me, this is a story. Like there are elements. This is a story where I think there are a lot of elements that I really like more than other stories that we've read. That I don't really like the story itself, but I like parts of it. I really like a lot of the concepts in here.
Like
but
what?
like the idea of like a haunted picture or whatever, what that's fine, right? It's like The Ring, but it's clever enough, and the idea of him like turning around in the end and being, well, fuck you now. I like that. There are things that I like. There are choices that I like, but as a whole, I think I don't like the story.
Nate, what do you think? Before I get to my thoughts on it.
I actually, ever since I started in this podcast with the creepypastas, reading the stories with the technology horror and stuff like that, I actually kind of grown to like it. This one kind of dragged me down a little bit.
This is like the weakest one. Yeah, this
I
is
don't know.
definitely the weakest one.
It was very.
Yeah,
It did grab ideas, and I
yeah.
just didn't really grab me.
Yep.
Right. Let me go ahead and first of all, alright, so I'm going to go through a few things about Smile.dog.
Okay.
So first of all, let me just read. This is why we skipped the first two paragraphs,
Okay.
and it'll make a lot of sense. Smile.dog's story consists of a classic horror setup. An amateur writer visits the house of a lady who supposedly has a story for which he can borrow from. Rather than speak, however, the lady locked herself up in her room, crying and ranting about nightmares and visions and various other problems. All of these center around a floppy disk that she had been given that contained the image of Smile.jpeg, which is Smile.dog. In other cases of this have been cropped up. Viewing this image incites insanity, and no copy of the exact image exists on the web, though likenesses of it do. The true image of Smile.jpeg is recognized due to the effect it has on the viewer. That is, they wind up dead. Attaching the file, that is, spreading the word, is the only way to save oneself from Smile.dog. When it appears in one's dreams demanding to spread the word. Some say the original legend began with the image of the devil. Now, this is why we skipped the first two paragraphs, because that kind of ruins the whole premise.
Right.
I don't know why that's
So
there.
it is The Ring, basically.
Yeah, literally The Ring.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if the original story. This isn't part of the original story. I don't think
Are
the
you
author.
sure?
Well,
Why
because
don't
it
other
says the
stories have
pasta's
this?
here.
Yeah.
I don't. I
Right.
think because this is a very popular story, it's
might
possible
have
that some of the
done that.
admins may have added on to this.
Yeah, like a
What a
synopsis.
stupid decision to spoil the entire story just
In the
because
beginning.
it's popular.
Right.
And the problem,
I don't know if that's what they did though.
And,
See, I
and the problem that causes for the story too, that's kind of like a disclaimer I would put on a certain news article in case like it's on a subject that people really don't know. And I put in like a disclaimer up there. Oh, this is about this. If you want to read this, go ahead.
If you're listening to this, and because I honestly don't know if this is part of the original story, these first two paragraphs that are like edged up. We're reading the creepypasta wiki. Like I'm going to show a screenshot of it right now. There it is. Essentially, so there's the pasta, which the author may have originally written. So I'm asking the audience if anyone knows. Do you know if the original story just has what the pasta has, or did the author include these first two lines? It's like I'm kind of
looked this up beforehand.
I honestly don't know.
Due diligence.
He's human.
0 out of 10.
He is human too. Okay.
All right. So Smile.dog is one of those things that got popular in the same sense that some other creepypastas get popular. And unfortunately, sometimes when stories get popular, it's not for the correct reasons. The character is what gets popular. That's how Jeff the Killer kind
Jeff
of
the
got popular.
Killer.
This ain't no Jeff the Killer.
No,
When did the king
but Jeff
get
the
popular?
Jeff the Killer was a bad story, but it got popular because of the image. Because for how bad that story was, the one decent thing about that story is the image itself. I think it's not a terrible
Right.
image, and it's recognizable. So what ends up happening is when people read something like Smile.dog, well, you get, you Google search the images, and there's lots of fan drawings of it. And I think the thing that doomed Smile.dog to be basically a meme was that they usually pair this dog with Jeff the Killer and say that Smile.dog is actually Jeff's killing dog, which is not what the story was.
The pasta verse.
Crossover.
So a story about an image turns into a story with, where the fandom turns the image into
Right. Sorry, I don't.
into a character.
I don't mean to. I don't want to.
Oh no.
No. I don't want to completely ignore what you're saying because I hear what you're saying. But could you fucking imagine? Because that'll happen eventually. Hollywood is so fucking dead. Like eventually they might just do that. They might just start making creepypasta movies and making a creepypasta cinematic universe.
Well, they're already.
Fingers crossed.
Sci-Fi has already done it with Candle Cove,
I
and
know,
next on Halloween is Next on Halloween is the Room Zero, which is coming out in the fall.
Room Zero?
Oh, no, not Room Zero. No End House.
We should watch that. We should actually sit down and watch that.
That one, it could be fun, although I've seen the trailers for it, and it looks like they've already fucked it up.
Can't wait.
6 rooms.
What, oh, Jesus.
Because 6 episodes.
Because 666.
No, 6 episodes. Because that's how long Candle Coves was.
Well, that too.
It ruins it. I don't know what whatever. I'm not
It does ruin it. Well,
Dumb.
to be fair, John, I read 2 and 3. And
No, whatever.
Dumb.
Well, let's get back
pretty bad.
So my thoughts on Smile.dog, since I haven't really told you guys what I think. First of all, I'm not a massive fan of the story. I am not a fan of Smile.dog. I think I like the writing. I think that after that very long email by Mary E., I wanted something more. I feel like there could have been 3 acts in the story, and I feel like the first act ended with Mary E.'s email, and then they just kind of skipped the middle, and then it kind of quickly went into, I gotta get to the end, it kind of rushes itself almost.
Yeah.
Oh no, the disc is melting, and it's hissing like some sort of animal.
What's the Wicked Witch of the West?
Yeah, like
Basically.
Well, yeah, but it's supposed to be, I guess, a dog. And then he gets the email, and it's just, as much, it's very different when, like, the beginning of the story uses all these big words, and it's a lot of exposition, a lot of I like the descriptions in the beginning of the story. And then after that email by Mary E., I feel like it just kind of rushed itself towards the end.
yeah.
And I feel like there could have been more in the middle that kind of give it a little bit more context. I don't mind the idea of the story. I agree largely with Dan that I like the idea of the story. I think this author writes pretty well. They're not bad at writing.
In theory, cool.
It's well
In
done.
execution, not
Right.
great.
The author clearly believed that the picture would carry the story, and sounds like it did.
Yeah.
So, mission accomplished. Everyone's happy. Hooray. Good job, everyone on the internet. Sorry, I'm bitter.
Yeah.
No, he has every right to. I mean, he's not wrong. Let's face it, he's not wrong about that.
Wow.
Anyone else have anything to say? I guess that's
No.
no. Unbelievable.
Let's leave it there.
No. Resounding no.
Okay, well that was Smile.dog. And I think I kind of expected this reaction.
Another podcast in the bag. High five, everyone.
Bazinga.
All right, so we welcome back Nate. Thanks for being here.
My baby Nate.
So this is, why are we giving each other high fives?
We're all high-fiving around
I
the
was
mic.
being sarcastic, and of course Dylan takes it
Dylan
seriously.
takes it over.
Why not?
Like, comment, and subscribe.
We should bring
Glad to
it
be
back.
back, guys.
Take us out, John. Nathan. All right, well, we're deleting this. The whole thing.
So join us next time on Scare Your Friends. I'm signing out. This is my friends William, Dylan, Dan, and Nate, and we will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Peace out.